Hello and welcome to Not Now in Theaters. Whether it's an underrated B-movie, a cult classic, or an underseen foreign film, this podcast is a highlight reel of movies past you might want to know more about and why. My name is Will Turntail, and I'm a writer and film fan from California. This episode is all about Robot Jox. A nostalgia watch for me, and maybe for you, it's a low-budget, Transformers-influenced kickback watch with some pretty fun and impressive mech props and stop-motion animation. A quick statement before we begin. Making films is hard, and you have to respect that. This is a fan's blog, so any criticisms I have are meant to be constructive. Alright, with that taken care of, let's go to the show. Robot Jox 1990 review, tongue-in-cheek post-apocalyptic mech battles. Somewhere between the ages of 6 and 8, my parents rented Robot Jox on VHS. Or I caught a glimpse of its cable TV commercial. I'm fuzzy on these details, but not the feeling it gave me. Real-life giant robots? Oh yeah, let's do this. In the mid-80s through the 90s, anime cartoons like Robotech and Exo Squad leaked onto kids' programming, and video games like MechWarrior made the joystick a household gaming mainstay. In these halcyon days of mech mania infiltration to America, I was a young superfan. My brothers and I memorized the captivating twists and turns to complete the metamorphosis of our Transformers toys, and we were lucky enough to visit a Battletech center in Colorado. For those not familiar, they would let you play the most immersive arcade games ever, or at least back in the early 90s. You would sit in a real-life cockpit and fire away at your friends or family members on a screen. My dad toasted me because I was a kid and had no idea what the hell all the different throttles and triggers did. My passion for mechs has eroded over the last approximately 34 years, yet I've come across Robot Jox's fiery cover now and again. Each time, a blurred image of human pilot avatars walking into metal-clad machine combat would filter back in, washing me in a hint of nostalgia for tech and mech. Now that the picture is streaming on Tubi, could the film's oddball charm, which worked well for me as a kid, still captivate? Let's find out. So is Robot Jox a good movie? The plot of Robot Jox. 50 years after a nuclear war, two nations have consolidated power, the US-influenced market and the Soviet-Russian-like Confederation. Because nobody wants to repeat the nuclear holocaust, traditional war is banned in favor of something, apparently, more civilized. To settle disputes, both nations agree to fight for territories in one-on-one battles between Robot Jox, human pilots inside giant mechanized robots. When market pilot Achilles squares off against Alexander for the territory of Alaska, a deadly accident occurs. Hundreds of spectators are killed. The match is ruled a draw, and a rematch is set. But put off by the deadly events of the last match, Achilles retires from fighting. As a public outcry against Achilles begins and Alexander taunts him, will he be coaxed back into the fold for a rematch? Just getting into the cast for you here. The market pilot Achilles is played by Gary Graham, and the Confederation's top pilot Alexander, the villain of the thing, is played by Paul Koslo. Anne Marie Johnson plays one of the Tubies named Athena, and you can read the rest of the main cast in the transcript. Also, at this point in the transcript, you can watch a trailer for the movie if you'd like. You can do that with a link over to YouTube through Shout Studios. All right, so now that you understand the plot of Robot Jox, let's get into what makes it fun and the things that maybe were not quite working so well. I'll give out points for what I liked and deduct for anything that I thought could be improved. Good thing number 1, walking that tone, plus 6 points. Directed by the eclectic creator Stuart Gordon, of Reanimator or Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the film is self-aware, effectively balancing its cartoonish plot and characters with the subtlest of sci-fi societal commentaries. Under a director like Paul Verhoeven, the guy that made RoboCop or Starship Troopers, this movie could have dipped into more overt sci-fi satire, and in Verhoeven's case, left a trail of bodies and blood behind. Instead, Stuart Gordon, the cast, and the crew play it straight, but they're all walking in a crooked world. Posters encourage women to have babies and help raise the population, There's a mild celebration at a family gathering to have, quote, actual meat, which is one lone sausage. And everyone must wear filtration masks or stay inside, presumably from some kind of nuclear fallout. But the rest of the film focuses on the pilot's drama. This Cold War warning, a dystopian failed world still repeating its mistakes, idles in the background. Still, this isn't a morality tale. There's ham and cheese in the performances. Villain Alexander of the Confederation is all too happy to taunt or kill his opponents with over-the-top relish. He's on the left of the image linked at this portion of the transcript if you want to see him. Seasoned, semi-cynical vet Achilles is Alexander's opposite. The market's best, he fights for the cause but carries the air of wondering what convinced him to sign up for Jock's life in the first place. The cheesiness, combined with the lower budget sets and props, fits. So working together, this all-important tone matches Gordon's intention, to make a kids movie that plays for adults. You can watch a giant robot laser battle at this point in the transcript over on YouTube through Scream Factory TV. Good thing number 2, fun robot designs, plus 4 points. You can't have a mech arena film without fun battle bots, and the picture delivers them with help from the legendary concept artist Ron Cobb. And if you don't know who Ron Cobb is, he's from Star Wars, Alien, Back to the Future, and Raiders of the Lost Ark, to name a few. Hero Achilles' market fighter is a red and white tower of jingoism. The bright BattleBot looks like a defender of honor, with shoulder jetpacks and tank treads on the back of its legs for alternate fighting stances. Villain Alexander's dark gray spider-like machine walks on 4 legs, presumably for better balance and intimidation. It has giant claws, machine guns in the middle, and a special surprise, a phallic chainsaw that folds out between its legs. Neato designs aside, the fun part is how the pilots manage the combat. The robots mimic the pilots' movements. Pilots walk in place on a metal platform to move the robot forward, or lift their arms to extend that of their robot counterparts. They fire weapons from triggers, but that natural movement adds human skin to the game. It justifies why you couldn't remotely control these mechanical monsters. And believe it or not, some of the actual props from this movie still exist. For more on the robot props, check out the link in this section of the transcript over to Props to History on YouTube. They've got 2 of the actual models used in the film. Good thing number 3, opening approximately 25 minutes, plus 3 points. The film's first act is a fluid section of filmmaking. A tight script meets solid camera and editing decisions. The opening sequence's cinematography pairs narration with gripping imagery. As the narrator gives us the backstory, we ride over the Siberian battlefield, broken pieces of fallen robots littered about. The camera pauses as one piece of junk still flashes and sparks, not old debris, but new. It's a fallen fighter in a current battle. With this sequence, the film has shifted us straight into the movie, and has walked us over the past with visual and voiceover exposition, and into the present as Alexander slays yet another market fighter. In minutes, we learn the details of Achilles' reputation, the backstory of the intelligently designed, quote, tubies, fighters bred from DNA, and side characters like Tex Conway and Dr. Matsumoto. Outside, a few urchins, ventilator masks on hand, take bets on who will win the fight. The spectators clamor for the action. And there are some lovely shots, like the score rising in heroic tones as Achilles moves up the elevator and into his bot, giving us a grand sense of the machine's scale. Okay, so let's get into the not as good things about Robot Jox. Not as good thing number 1, silly training, minus 1 point. It may be a product of a low-budget production, but Achilles and the Tubies don't train with any robot simulation. Instead, they don skin-tight suits and spar with each other. Even if the film couldn't afford a simulator, some shots of the Jocks and Tubies jogging around the robots to stay combat fit would have been better than this, as fistfighting doesn't seem to have any bearing on being a Jocks pilot. Later in the film, things get absurd. When it's time to decide which Tubie is the strongest for a fight, they don't test their skills behind the controls of a bot or reveal who has the highest scores during training exercises. Instead, they have a race, presumably to the death, to the top of a booby-trapped pyramid. The Tubies climb what looks like the tallest children's jungle gym, trying to reach an escape at the top, with pieces that break off or get too hot to touch. It's a bizarre, brutal sideshow, and getting to the top of the pile has nothing to do with fighting in a robot. You can see a clip of a training session with the link at this point in the transcript over on YouTube through Scream Factory TV. Not as good thing number 2. Weak plot, -2 points. Achilles and Alexander taunt each other because Alexander loves his job way too much, and Achilles is his best opponent. As simplistic as that is, it works. But there could have been more here for as large a part in the film as Athena and the Tubies get. Achilles could have revealed more about his character, which would have been more for the audience to bond with had he been invested in training this next generation of fighters. Instead, he's attracted to Athena, and that's about it. You wish there was more of a minor, ongoing competition between him and the Tubies, or an arc in which they gain mutual respect with him as their mentor. Any of this would help the payoff by the film's end. There's also a tiny who is the spy subplot, but other than a bit of tension and a silly death scene, it doesn't add much. Not as good thing number 3. Lackluster combat, -3 points. The movie's showpiece, as billed, is robot arena combat, but the bot versus bot showdowns are less than exhilarating. They're like iffy roller coaster rides at the county fair instead of the grand designs of an actual theme park. You could argue the film bumps up against the limits of a lower budget and older effects technology. Still, special effects and set-piece heavy films like the original Star Wars trilogy had already come and gone. Putting down rails a movie like this could follow. Much like we admire old-school muscle cars for their carbureted, ear-tickling menace, even if electric vehicles of today can outpace them, the novelty of these practical and stop-motion effects adds charm. It's the choreography that fails here. The robots hit each other once or twice, fire off a laser or two, and that's about it. It hardly takes an expert jocks to handle this sort of combat, as who can have the edge in this walk-forward and push-button warfare? But an even bigger flaw is that there are only 2 robot battles in the whole thing, bookending the opening and closing acts, where a minimum of 3 were due. Act 2 holds no thrilling plot to keep your interest, and another clash of machines should have been slotted in. With the YouTube link here in the transcript, you can watch actor Paul Koslo discuss the effects over at Scream Factory TV. Okay, so adding it all up, Robot Jox scores 7 arbitrary points. On my scale of, let's not watch this movie, should I watch this movie, or go watch this movie, I'm going to award it my should I watch rating. Robot Jox is a dumb ride, but that's by design. A film for kids that can work for adults, it's worth revisiting for retro fans. It nails its cartoonish storytelling tone, giving you a sarcastic science fiction experience high on color and personality, with a little twist of social commentary. And it will surprise you, as there are some neat bits of cinematography. And of course, if mechs are your thing, it's a whack to your nostalgia zone. But you must overlook the film's flaws to stay in the joy zone. The combat isn't special, and the movie doesn't compensate with impressive character or world building. So for those of you with nostalgia for Transformers or the like, give your throwback itch a go. The legacy of Robot Jox and its spiritual sequels. Robot Jox maintains a niche cult following. It's a film referenced in a Reddit thread or two, and it got a physical media release through Shout Factory sometime in the 2010s, and then again through Arrow Films in June of 2023. Early reviews criticized the movie's Cold War illusions, as reviewers felt that by 1990, these were getting less relevant to audiences. But it's no problem for current viewers. Though technically released in 1990, the film carries a late 1980s vibe, and its indirect references to the Cold War feel right on with its era. The film was followed up by 2 curiously related movies, though not necessarily sequels. The first, Crash and Burn, is titled just like the catchphrase all the Jox pilots say to each other. The movie was actually released in European markets as Robot Jox 2, Crash and Burn, yet apparently the plots of the 2 films are entirely unrelated. With the YouTube link in this section of the transcript, you can watch a trailer for Crash and Burn over at Full Moon Features. The second, quote, sequel is 1993's Robot Wars. Many refer to this as a sequel to Robot Jox, but it's not. They have similar themes but unrelated storylines. I couldn't find a trailer for this on YouTube where I was confident the channel has a copyright to show it, but I imagine you can find one there if you search for it and want to look. Though Robot Jox seems like it flopped at the box office, Stuart Gordon continued his fascinating career, including directing minor cult movie Fortress and even more niche cult film Space Truckers. Lead actor Gary Graham, who played Achilles, went on to appear in Star Trek Enterprise and many other productions. Anne Marie Johnson, who played Athena, has continued a long career. She's had roles on popular TV shows like That's So Raven, Melrose Place, and Jag. But most notably to me, she was on the last season of In Living Color. Paul Koslo, who played the villain Alexander, kept acting until 2004. But he might be more well-known for prior roles. He's appeared in cult classic Vanishing Point and also films like The Omega Man, Joe Kid, Freebie and the Bean, Heaven's Gate, and many more. Okay, so thank you so much for listening to my thoughts on Robot Jox, directed by Stuart Gordon. If you liked this episode, would you leave me a review on your favorite podcast platform? Reviews help new channels like mine get discovered, and I would appreciate your taking 1 minute or two to share your thoughts. My goal for this podcast is to connect with other fans, so if you've got a comment or a question, I'd love to hear from you. You can connect with me on Blue Sky using the link in the transcript. I'll read it to you, but it's easier with the link. At ni-theaters.bsky.social. This podcast episode is a production copyright of Overegged Media, LLC, located in Sacramento, California. Reference photos linked in the transcript are copyrighted by the Internet Movie Database. This review's factual information was gathered through online sources like Wikipedia, IMDb, or interviews. Misrepresentations and errors are possible, but unintentional. Introduction music, Neon Laser Horizon by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license. Exit music, Voxel Revolution by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license. Additional music, Beauty Flow by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license. Goodbye for now.